Hello, everyone. I am hungry for this event tonight. It is the scene of round 10 of the Formula One ALR World Championship. And yes, that has taken me since last Tuesday when I ended silver to figure that one. Because I got an IQ of 69. Nice. But today we've got quite a lot to discuss, haven't we, really? There's a couple of things that was chatted about in the admin chat today, which I want to hear your opinions on. I also want to hear your opinions on yesterday's Grand Prix as well. I don't think Knowlesy mentioned about the Grand Prix yesterday, or I certainly didn't hear it. But then again, I was kind of half asleep anyway yesterday because I was struggling really badly from getting up at getting up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is absolutely shocking for me because that time of the morning normally doesn't exist for me. So yes, we got a lot of topics to get through over the course of this stream, which I'm really interested to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I'm also early today, which is fantastic because that means I can go for the drives, the constructors, and the joint constructors as well. And here it is then. So Flippy has got another win under his belt then and has extended his lead in the World Championship to, I ain't got my spreadsheet up, to 44 points at 167 to Medi's 123. And then we have got Brabbit on 91 amongst 76 points adrift of Flippy now with just about 8 rounds to go in this Drivers' Championship. It's starting to get a bit of a big ask now, isn't it, for the former silver champion in the forms of Brabbit. But never say never in this game. Now remember, Sam Swoop Ninja came from a long way back to win the championship last season. Villiers then on 73 points. Hopefully Villiers is in the card tonight, even though I see that we got a super sub in for Ferrari. We got Julian on 57 points, Immortal on 56, Sweet on 41, 30 for Van Bon, who's making his 60th Grand Prix start tonight, so happy 60th. P's on 29 points, 26 for Nameless, Mayran on 24, 23 for Equels, with Kieran on 23 as well. So close to getting his first podium of his career a week or two ago. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago now. Persia on 19, 16 for Markey, who had a great Grand Prix win last night. Legends on 15.6 for Savasta. Delano on 4, hoping for a tsunami by the looks of things. 3 for Chaza. Then we've got Emerson Hilton, who is still Neil Poir at the moment. Unfortunately, but hats off to him, Emerson, for keeping going, because I know, for example, for me, I would have quit a long time ago, but that's because I'm a sore loser. In the Constructors' Championship, Aston Martin lead 34 points in front of the Alpine team in at second position there. Third is the Kick Sauber, 41 points adrift of the Aston Martin team, 7 points adrift of the Alpine team. 82 points for Red Bull Racing then, 74 points for the Ferrari. Then we got a gap of 15 points between the Ferrari and Ferrari's B team or customer team, even though they're not B in this championship. I hope not. Anyway, then we have got Mercedes on 49 points, 46 for McLaren, 24 for Racing Bulls or Visa Cash App and all that kind of rubbish, or we could just call him Minardi like I'm an old man. Then we have also got the Willie on 18 points as well. Nosy shouting at me. What's going on? Let's have a look then. Then in the joint constructors, Sean, you are gold. Always believe in your soul. You've got the power to know I'm indestructible. By what's his name? Shalabala? I don't know. Joint constructors, I'm actually disappointed because I'm a man who takes pride after my 80s music knowledge, but that is pretty appalling. There we go. But then again, I did have the Gold Steps album from when they released it in 2000. I even knew the choreography as well, so I'm very happy with that. Joint constructors, Alpine lead the way on a massive 142 points there in front of Red Bull, but then after that, it is very close then. So third position is the Ferrari, 24 points away from Red Bull. Aston Martin, 22 points away from the Ferrari. McLaren on 7 points away from the Aston Martin. Kick Sauber, 4 points away from the McLaren team. I hear a countdown. Haas on at 248, 223 for Racing Bull, Visa Cash Up / Minardi. Mercedes on 178, and Williams are broken into the triple digit mark with 102. Then as we come to the Hungary ring for round 10 of the championship, tight, twisty, 2 DRS zone. It is an old school circuit. First race back in 1986, I think it was. Of course, it was also the scene of where Nigel Mansell won the 1992 championship. It's one and only championship for Nigel Mansell, which is quite astounding when you look back on the history, doesn't it? And Mansell was very unlucky, wasn't he, as well? Of course, the track was modified back in 2003 or 2002. Of course, when they elongated the straight ever so slightly, and of course made turn 1 a bit more sharper, didn't they? And I think they also made some amendments down in turn 12 as well. I think, anyway. Something along those lines. By the way, happy International Women's Day was yesterday as well. So happy International Women's Day as well. Which, of course, one of ALR's proudest moments, I think, then was, of course, when when Welsh Maldonado won the Canadian Grand Prix in Silver season 8, I think it was, or season 7, something along those lines. Of course, Welsh Maldonado won her first and only Grand Prix win on International Women's Day back in Silver a few seasons ago as well, which I must say. It's absolutely a fine piece of history as well. First Grand Prix, 1986. Thank you very much, Knowlesy. Has Knowlesy got his Wikipedia up, or is he a man in the know-how? I'm going to be honest, I think it's the second one. And also as well as Knowlesy didn't do me. He did not pass his college and school exams by using Wikipedia. I did. As we've got Sebastian out on the circuit already. So there's a lot of hullabaloo going on at the moment in the world of Formula One and in the world of Formula One ALR as well. So one of the things that was been discussed here on ALR, well, there's two things that was discussed last night in the event league. Knowlesy was trying out non-ghosting and all that kind of stuff. So because there's been a lot of it's more the game really that's been a bit rubbish rather than anything else. But there's been some ghosts at the start, and some drivers have been helped and hindered by it. So Knowlesy did turn off ghosting last night, but I think that which is I think is a positive personally, and I also think as well that I reckon ghosting should be off anyway, which includes lapped cars and all that kind of stuff. Because lapping cars, in my opinion, it didn't work. Lapping cars, in my opinion, is a skill personally. Ayrton Senna had that skill. Over the years that we've seen the Ferraris of Michael Schumacher having that skill as well. Remember, I think that wasn't it. It might have been this Grand Prix here actually. Wasn't it Nigel Mansell that overtook Ayrton Senna in 1987 or 88? I think it was. I'm not sure. Right, let me read all these comments. Then. The event has been the scene of several driver championship victories, including Oscar Piastri in 2024, Ocon in 2021. Jenson Button in 2006 and Fernando Alonso in 2003. And that's a who's who, apart from Ocon. Sorry, what? And that's a who's who of Grand Prix racing, isn't there? In Hungary as well. I like this circuit. I must admit, I did not like the circuit when it was in the refueling era because it was not the most interesting of Grand Prix back then. But having said that, you cannot take away the remarkable strategical element that Michael Schumacher did in 1998, I think it was, where he went on a three-stop strategy and did 25 qualifying laps to outwit the man, the myth, the legend, Mika Hakkinen. Of course, this is Hakkinen's happy hunting ground, isn't it, in the McLaren? And but Michael Schumacher outwitted the McLaren team as well. It's Wikipedia, don't worry. Phew, I thought that I was going to lose me spot then for Formula Nerd. Having said that, I'm only a Formula Nerd for the 90s, but unfortunately that's like 30 years ago now, which is very sad indeed. Hello all, good evening to you, Dom, as well. Most pole position, Hamilton, 9 most wins, Hamilton with 8 there. Who's got the second most wins around here? Michael Schumacher? I don't think that's right, is it? Across the line there comes Emerson, and he's gone fastest so far on a 16 flat there for the race at Ball there. But then Sebastian has been closely followed behind Emerson, has gone faster by half a second there from Emerson Hilton. The other thing that we was talking about as well, along with ghosting, was also some of the drivers readying up when other drivers was not ready in terms of getting their setup and all that kind of malarkey going, which I do agree because that is good, and that's only a problem if we have to have a lobby restart. And I hate to say it, we have to have a lobby restart more often than not because of all the kind of shenanigans going on with the EA servers and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of like lobby restarts and getting setups good done, to be honest, it is kind of a gentleman's agreement as Van Von on his 60th Grand Prix start tonight goes fastest on a 15.3. I'll look at last season's pole position time in just a minute. Goodness gracious me, I'm not even sure if that's allowed before the water shut there from this guy called Breezy. I don't know who that is, to be honest. I might have to block him. is Kieran now coming into turn 12, which is newly reprofiled. I say reprofiled, but it was reprofiled in 2005, I think. Is Kieran now, who has not got a podium yet in his gold career, which I think is absolutely astonishing for the man who's had so many highlights in ALR Grand Prix racing. But across the line comes Kieran and goes second fastest in the McLaren. Beautiful stuff indeed. Where am I? Sweet there in the middle part of the lap there. We got Julian, who is just coming up to the very fast turn 4. One of the best circuits on the Formula 1 calendar. Jamie James, of course, Jamie James making a full-blown debut tonight, Jamie James is. And Jamie James was one of the drivers who was mentioned about this issue with setups, getting your setups on before someone pressed start. Of course, one of the things that was... Did I just see a car teleport there? I was actually trying to pull my socks up because my feet are very cold here tonight there. I thought it's March, for goodness gracious me. I'm not putting my heating on again then. My heating shouldn't be going on now until December the 1st. And also, that's also a good timing when I got my advent calendar out. Albeit, I think that actually there's still 2 advent calendars at work, which I'm keeping my eye on at the moment, because I'm hoping that no one blags them. Technically, it's March now, so it should be a free-for-all, shouldn't it? Julian's gone fast on a 14.9, and Julian was on pole position last week in Spa. Of course, the Belgian Grand Prix, and what a doozy of a Grand Prix that was as well. Anyway, going back to the readying up and all that kind of stuff. One of the, Sebastian did mention that this is a gentleman's agreement, but I must say that in terms of gentleman's agreement, I don't think all the drivers may not heed to that, of course, and potentially I don't know how we're going to get around it, because apparently I can't see it, so which is annoying, because which is such a shame really, because I would like to think on the left right hand side I'll be able to see who's readied up and all that kind of stuff, then I can name and shame. Last season's pole position time was a 1:14.496 there from Medi. Thank you very much, Nosy. To be honest, I think Nosy must know that I haven't got my spreadsheet up there. Goodness me, he knows me too well. That's also a step song as well. Out of final turn there for Flipping, of course, the Drivers' Championship leader at the moment, and pole position now on a 14.8 then. That is currently 4/10 of a second away from last season's pole position time thus far, which was set by this man here, Medi, who is second in the Drivers' Championship zone. It's going to be needly in terms of the drivers fighting it out. Then in the Drivers' Championship, which I've got to say I do love. A bit of needle is all good stuff indeed. Evening, Rusty. Good evening to you, serious question. Rusty, what is that of? Is that a film then, or is that Mater? No, I don't know. I do look like Mater off of Cars. He did what in his cup? I love that. Other fun. If you haven't watched Cars yet, firstly, why not? Medi goes second fast mode. They can't match this last season's pole position time by half a second, which of course that is fact. That's come from Knowles. Then I know Knowles doesn't tell a lie, unless he's talking about Chelsea, of course. But we all can't have it our own way, can't we? Right, hello, Camera Racing, and of course 10 euros is in my piggy bank as well, which is fantastic. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cough. Good stuff indeed. Where's my mute button? 1 minute. Once again, Ferrari are not going to be scoring Construction Championship points because both Ferrari drivers are not here, unfortunately. But Sweet Crown now, who got a podium last time out there. And, of course, Jamie James making their debut tonight in gold, of course. So good stuff indeed then. Pole run to turn 1, breaking point is at 476 metres. Is that the... that's not... I think that's like... Is that the 5th longest? It's in the top 5 for the longest runs down to turn 1, isn't it? Of course, the longest run down to turn 1 is obviously Mexico. Of course, it used to be Russia, but then again, Russia had this sticking point, whereas the first run to the first breaking point, that's exactly what Knowles said, actually, isn't it? I was talking about the first to the first corner and all that kind of stuff. Right, where was I? 477 if you break when a Juna does that. Yes, Mater, without the tur. I like Mater, I reckon he's cool. I wish I was like Lightning McQueen, but I'm absolutely not. Yes, I'm what's the opposite of lightning? I think I'm more thunder than lightning, especially if it comes out of my rear. Across the line comes Cam, then of course reserving tonight for the Red Bull in the Red Bull. Then of course, as unfortunately there's still awful events going on throughout the world, and sadly because of that, then we haven't got a few of our Iranian friends then driving for us tonight. But more importantly, I hope they're all safe and well. And second most importantly, I hope they get their internet back as well. But yes, of course. course, wishing them all the best there in what is pretty horrific times over there at the moment. Now, as Cam goes fast in the first sector, apparently, according to the trap map there on the right-hand side. But yes, more importantly, we hope our friends from Iran are all safe and sound, and hopefully it'll all be sorted sooner or later. Problem, I don't understand politics. I don't really know. I can't comment on what's going on and what's not, and what not's going on. But more importantly, the most important thing for me is the fact that human lives are being lost out there, and that's pretty horrific from my point of view. So I kind of hope it stops. And if the world leaders want to have a scrap and all that kind of stuff, just 1v1 each other on Call of Duty or something. Back in my day, that's what I used to do, to be honest. If we had a problem, we used to 1v1 in Rust. Cam goes 15th fastest, but of course, joking aside, I hope everyone's all safe and sound. P's on a lap at the moment. They're taking a lot of curve there, P's. So that's going to unsettle his Haas car. I've ran out of facts. Sorry, Sean, I'm disappointed. Who's the second highest? I want to know who the second highest pole sitter and winner was around here, actually. Oh, gosh, there's Peace. Oh, and he's clumped his bum into the wall. Oh, my word. And that made me jump, and I don't know why. But Peace is into the wall, and it's crashed there. Didn't Giovinazzi crash there in... someone crashed there quite heavily. Goodness gracious me! I'll 1v1 you, Sean. There, goodness gracious me. We're talking about PC games there, Mushroom. None of your dirty stuff. But unfortunately for Pete, I'm wondering if he damaged his rear wing. In real life, that car would not be making out of the barriers. That's one thing I'd like to see on the new game, which ain't going to happen. And also apparently the TLC. Oh no! And Pease is out of the qualifying session there. I'm wondering if that rear wing was completely damaged actually, and unfortunately for Pease, he's out of qualifying, which is a big blow indeed. As we just seen Brabbit make his way up to 5th position in the Kick Sauber. Of course, Brabbit, a former champion in the second championship of ALR, which of course is silver. Sebastian going into 6th position, but someone's teleporting now. Is that Emerson again? Goodness me, he needs to get some better interwebs down in Torquay. It's an all Kick Sauber row 3 now. Good stuff indeed. This is the last time we're going to be seeing Kick Sauber in the Drivers' Championship in ALR before they become Audi. And didn't Audi do a good job yesterday in Australia? Oh, Kieran's off. Goodness gracious me. And Kieran's overshot turn 12, I think that is. That is where Verstappen crashed in 2020. I think it was, wasn't it? When it was a light rain shower. And that is the Grand Prix that we're still waiting for the rain to come, I think. Kieran has unfortunately overshot then and into the barrier. Legends is up to 11th position. Sweet Crown is drawn into 12th area. He's just under a 10th of a second away at the moment. There's a wall there, Pete. All he had to do was get in there slowly, says that KD. I reckon there might have also been frustration as well for Pete. I'm wondering if he damaged his rear wing, you know. Flippy's on pole. Goodness gracious me. That's 2 laps I've missed now with Flippy. As we are getting down to last season's pole position time, which of course is 2/10 of a second away, which I've been reliably informed by Knowles across the line, and Sweet Crown goes into 7th position. Of course, Sweet Crown, a Grand Prix winner back in Season 8 of ALR, of course, when he was driving on the F1 2022 game. And of course, Sweet Crown was known as Wooter back then. Here's Chazza out of turn. Well, he's about to start his lap now, actually. No, he isn't. He's coming into the pit. And it's all gone quiet, hasn't it, here in the Hungary ring? Of course, it's a natural bowl around here, isn't it? And talking of which, actually, Reflection is going to this Grand Prix in the summer, which I think he's sitting at that grandstand to the left-hand side. So I hope Reflection is looking forward to that. This is probably one of the better Grand Prix to go to as well. Because, of course, there's also a... water park just above that grandstand, I believe, as Flippy doing his best Lewis Hamilton impression now from 2017, nope, 15, Sean, get it right. He's not on pole, there's 5 minutes, that's a serious much. He's on provisional pole, that is what I was meant to say there. Fahad out on circuit, Cam also on circuit as well. So the 2 sister teams out on track at the moment, there, albeit. Talking of which, have you heard this? Toto Wolff, it's there's rumours, by the way, take this as a picture because I read it off Instagram, and Instagram is not the most reliable of sources, is it? But Toto Wolff is bidding for the 24% from Alpine, for the ownership of Alpine, then the 24% that Alpine have put up for sale. which Christian Horner was interested in taking over. Or Cam there running wide there, but Cam was on the lap of the mud. And that interest, and I got to say, by the way, I do not agree with that because Toto Wolff, because he's got a stake in, not Kick Sauber, because he's got a stake in Mercedes, he shouldn't be allowed to have a stake in another team, in my opinion. But then again, I do think that it should be the same rules in football as well, because it doesn't, like Red Bull owning like 50% of the world's clubs these days, doesn't it? There's Red Bull here, there, and everywhere. Like in F1, really, is it? Because Red Bull have two teams. I do think that you shouldn't have you should only have ownership in one team personally. What was you saying about the DLC? Says there's much. I've heard it's delayed. By the way, I've also read that on Instagram as well. So yes, I've heard it's been delayed or something. But it was on YouTube actually. Does anyone know Tom97 or something like that? It pops up saying the DLC might be delayed. I think it was him, anyway. And look at that going in serve. Oh my goodness me! I thought Cam was gone then, and I almost went with him. I almost fell into me washing basket there, me clothes horse. Goodness me! Is a Cam there? Oh, that car looks very skittish on the rear. I think the Cam's going to be chewing through those tires tonight. I think it's a tire limited circuit. We're going to be seeing a lot of tire strategies out there. Whether or not it is going to be. Whether or not it is going to be a 1 or 2 stopper, I do not know. But I think that the fastest strategy out here, if I put my finger in the air, is I think probably a medium to hard, but it's it's very close on tyre wear, similar to the tyre wear around Silverstone as well. Out to the final turn for Cam. That was a very adventurous lap there from the Red Bull driver, but that is an improvement. I've got to shut my mouth because Cam is up to 12th position, and goodness gracious. I absolutely no idea what's going on. An improvement there for Farhad. States in 17th position, improves time but not position. Gunter Shabaya. I think Gunter's now in MotoGP. I'm sure I seen him in MotoGP. I think, is he with KTM or something like that? I'm very new to MotoGP. I haven't watched it since it went over to BT Sport, but I've been trying to watch some of the highlights recently. But so I might get those names wrong, but I'm sure I've seen him in a KTM shirt, which is all cool. Somebody, Tom97 did make a video about it. Oh, but did you watch it, KD? And did he say about it being delayed, or am I just talking absolute rubbish? Gunter is with KTM, fantastic. I'm going to be honest, I'm so happy with myself because I'm trying to concentrate on like all these new motorsports things, because I'm also trying to get into IndyCar as well. I didn't watch the IndyCar the whole race last night, but I must say that short oval, was it in Phoenix? It was fantastic. Really was indeed there. I'm a really big fan of Rabson, I don't know, the Super Swede. Is he a Swede? I do not know. Here's Van Bon, who's on the 60th Grand Prix start tonight as well. He is a MotoGP at Pramac Ducati. Ducati. You can tell I'm not a bike fan, can't you? Goodness gracious me. But then again, as what's it Gina DeCampo once said about his nan if she had wheels and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Van Von out to the final turn, and of course there's only 14 turns on this course set, and in the background we are sponsored by Lenovo, which makes me happy because I've got a Lenovo laptop in front of me. 3/10 of a second improvement there with 5 seconds to go in qualifying. That is the front row of the grid for Van Von, and that McLaren in the background is just made it by the skin of his nose cone as Van Von getting well out the way. Checker flag has fallen for Cam, and he has gone on to 13th, 12th position, but Neddy is on pole position, and he has not matched last season's pole position time as Equals into a superb 5th position there. Equals is very much in it it's in it to win it here tonight. Delano down in 18th position. Jamie James is up into 11th position. There's nothing jammy about that. 6th position, 7th position for Savasta. Good stuff indeed. Then we've also got Everson into 50, Chaz 16th, 17th for Farhad then. Nameless is up to 9th position, the Red Bull racing car. Fantastic. Julian is on the second row of the grid. What about Flippy? He's invalidated, and Flippy is out of this qualifying session there. Sweet's also invalidated as well. It is pole pole position for Medi, and that is pole position number, hang on caller, number 4 of the season. That's his first pole position since the British Grand Prix for Medi, and of course it got very controversial in the British Grand Prix. However, that is 2 weeks ago, and this is tonight, and this is a very difficult track to overtake on. So the ball is in the court of Medi. That's his 6th pole position in 39 qualifying attempts as well for Medi. Fantastic stuff indeed. I got something stuck in my teeth. 1 minute. I'm sure you guys wanted to know that. Great stuff indeed there from Medi, 6th pole position of his career. Fantastic stuff indeed. Pramac uses Yamaha, not Ducati. Shocking stuff, Mushroom. How did you not know that? Yeah, he mentioned the DLC being delayed, but well, at least I got that bit right. That's fantastic. No, they don't. Not now, then. Yes, they do. They've used Ducati, but switched last year. Lies! Absolute lies. Equalson, it's looking a bit flushed in there as well. I'll watch MotoGP. I'm not talking rubbish. I've not watched this year, to be fair. I had to cancel Sky. 600 seconds separates Medi and Flippy on the front row. Flippy didn't get his final run in. We heard about Flippy's issues in qualifying last week. Van Von 3rd, Julian 4th, Kieran 5th, Brabbit 6th, Sweet 7th, Equaz 8th, Sevasta 9th, 10th is Nameless. Second half of the grid, both Ferraris on row number 6, and with Cam, Legends, Emerson, Chaza, Fahad, Delano, Knowlesy, and Pease bringing up the rear. We sit toward the rear. We sit in the Pease backed his car into the tyre barrier there, unfortunately, and didn't really get a fair crack at qualifying. And Novelty then, I think, was taken after his mentor Farf as not coming out to set a qualifying lap indeed. And unlike Hungary, that normally is very hot, isn't it, at this part of the season in the Hungaroring. And of course, it's all going to be all about keeping those tyres in a great operated window. You had cheeseburger stuck in your teeth, Sean. It was certainly cheesy, but it wasn't the burger. Let your minds go wild on that one. Equals, there's gold. Then there's MHD, who's absolutely superb at the moment, isn't it? Of course, his 2nd pole position in a row in this Grand Prix. Of course, last season's Grand Prix winner was Flippy, so Flippy will be hoping to open it lightning strikes twice there. In terms of the most successful driver around this circuit, it is Sam Swift Ninja, who has won the season 12, 11, 10 Grand Prix winner. So Sam Swift Ninja has basically got a monopoly on this Grand Prix. I don't think anyone else has won it more than twice. Emerson's won it twice as well back in his championship winning years of season 4 and 5. That was a long time ago. Goodness gracious me, I think we still have black and white TV last time Emerson won a Grand Prix around here. Oh, Emerson gave me a really good fact about Lance Stroll. Because Lance Stroll had only finished 74% of the Grand Prix, he is not classified, which means he's not appearing on the championship leaderboard. They call it championship table. And of course, the other drivers, of course, retired, but they are on the championship leaderboard. I think. I was listening to it whilst I was on the toilet, so bear with me. I probably should get the sound clip up again. Oh, never mind. I broke my phone. That's not good. Whoops. Anyway, let's go for the grid, shall we? Hard tyres for Fahad. Everyone else is on medium tyres out. So as Pease is back in the session, fantastic indeed for Pease. Medi on pole position for the 6th time in his career, with Flippy alongside on row 1. So the two championship protagonists are going to go side by side, then down into turn 1 there. It is very difficult to overtake on this circuit, then even with the DRS on the start finish straight, and there's a short run down into turn 2 as well. But I would say that it's still a difficult one indeed, as Medi is flown up into the start-finish line, and goodness me, he's well out of position there. So is Flippy as well. Pease is hoping to take control of his car now, as we are now getting onto the grid now, preparing for the start of the Grand Prix. Here's another fact about Stroll: he's useless. Harsh. Well, I was quite happy that we sent 2 Aston Martins actually take to the grid, which was actually a miracle in of itself there. And that they was worried about Cadillac and Andretti when they were joining, that they wasn't going to be very competitive. Well, it just goes to show, doesn't it? They're on about changing some rules as well, aren't they, for real F1? But we'll talk about that in a minute because we've got the green flags then, which means our ready to get go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And there's a lot of ghosting going on, but it's lights out, and here we go down into turn one then. It's as it knows, it says a long run down into turn one, but Medi has taken lead with Van Bonham in the second, and once again there's ghosting, so Flippy is going to try and go up and under, and goodness me, 3 into 1, goodness gracious me, I don't think that's even past the watershed. Ferrari's off, Sweet Crown is off the circuit, as Flippy still leads with Van Bonham in second, and Medi in third position there, as once again then the ghosting has meant that we changed leadership there into turn 3. Not the driver's fault, I stress that, it is the game's fault, unfortunately. Flippy leads, Van Vonden in second with Medi in third, Julian in fourth, and Kieran up into fifth position with Brabbit, Sweet, Equal, Savasta, and Cam at three positions, while Megastar Peas up 6 positions. Goodness gracious me, Sweet Crown is all the way down into 20th and last position, unfortunately. And that's not ideal either. So the pole sitter has dropped down to third position there with Van Bon now in the second there. Traditionally for Van Bon, he usually eats up his tyres quite rapidly. So let's see how he can do with his tyre management there. There are the tyres on the left-hand side tower. As he comes to the complete lap one of this Hungarian Grand Prix, is going to be all about... It's going to be all about tyre management, I think, around this Grand Prix. Very useless indeed, says KD. We're all about Stroll, unfortunately. I think Stroll should probably go to World Endurance, personally, there, because they've got an Aston Martin project. Then they have the Valkyrie or something. Down into turn 1 again. I don't know much about my road cars, to be fair. The first 4 cars disappeared. It's Crossplay's fault, says here's Mushroom. Is it? No, it's not. How dare you blame Crossplay? Peas has got past Emerson now. Emerson dropped down to 40th position. Good qualifying there for Emerson, but unfortunately he's dropping back in mum then as we're just watching the top 3 here. And there they are, so starting to streak away with Julian in 4th position, Kieran, Brabbit, followed by Sweet then, and then we got Equal, superb qualifying now. Can he keep it up in the race as well? So faster in 9th, Cam in 10th position there. We've got 2 Red Bulls, Lionel Stir. You won't believe it though, because one's white, one's blue. Dark blue. 12 is Legends there. Peas up into 30th position there. Peas there, goodness gracious me. Unhappy about his qualifying performance and damaging the car, but my goodness gracious me, he's making up for lost time in 13th position there. Emerson in 14th there. Jamie James is in 15th. Delano in 16th, the former bronze champion. Chaz in 17th. Knowlesy is on the part of the circuit we don't rent. With Sweet in 19th position and Farhad in 20th position. Coming on to complete lap 2. I never blame Crossplay. How dare you? Crossplay, goodness me. What do I do in my spare time? I do dress up as Supergirl. Out of the final turn then. On lap 3 of this Grand Prix then. And look at Flippy. He's already trying to defend there, isn't he? He's trying to break that slipstream there. Going very close to the pit wall. Of course, DRS is available. Look at this though. And the DRS is not very powerful down that start-finish straight. And of course, so Flippy did have to bring the DRS ever so slightly, but there is no position changes apart from Nolte in the Alpine machine there. Sweet has just got past him, but that tells me that it's going to be a strategical race, and there's nothing of a strategical race either, but unfortunately for me that means it's a thinking game, and there's not any, and I can't think too much because I'll hurt my brain. My gosh, there's a legend going this way and that way through the very fast kink of turn 4. One of my favourite overtakes, of all time, but ironically it's not actually legal, was the Roman Grosjean overtake on the outside of turn 12. Who was it he was overtaken? Was it Hamilton? I think it was Lewis Hamilton, wasn't it? Or it's certainly one of the McLarens. But unfortunately there, of course, because he was out, it might be Kimi Räikkönen actually. No, it wasn't. It was certainly one of the McLarens. But yeah, unfortunately though, it was deemed to be outside track limits, and because of that, he had to get the position back. Or I think he got a penalty, didn't he, for it though? 14th, Ayrton must be driving for Emerson, and of course, remember that Daniel Abt then lost his real seat in for the Audi Abt team in Formula E. Way back when, of course, when they were doing virtual races during the COVID era, which I must admit I thought was a bit extreme, to be honest there, but I do not know much about it because I think there might have been actually some money involved in all that kind of stuff in the Formula E world. But here's Sebastian in 9th position at the moment. Whoa, Equals' car looking like a Tesco shopping trolley there, struggling to be compliant there as Knowles has got back past Sweet there. Knowles and Sweet are the only two drivers out there that are swapping positions there as Knowles has had to back out of that and down into 19th position there as Farhad having a sniff but nothing more than that. As it is, a status quo, but Equals has lost DRS now from a car in front of Sweet then, so the top 7 have now broken away. Can Equals gain up the position in the middle part of this course then? There's a high downforce this circlist like that. Of course, there's going to be a lot of rear wing on the back of a lot of these cars, which should be good because they'll punch the hole in the air. But what will be bad though is it will be very much carrying a barn door down the start-finish straight. Are you cross players, Oliver, please, sir? Because then nope. Yep, absolutely. I think we'll stop right there. Goodness gracious me. To be honest, I was trying to work out who Oliver was, and I thought you meant Oliver, the ginger cat of Oliver and Company. I don't think many people have. What Sweet Crown is in the pit very early on for Sweet Crown. Sevasta has taken Equals. I apologise because I was going to see what Sweet Crown was doing and if he had any damage to the Ferrari. Pease is now up into 12th position. Goodness gracious me. Pease is, well, he's going to go for the old switcheroo, almost contact between the two cars. Haas car up the inside. Pease is into 12th position there. And what about Legends? He's going to go up and under. Not quite. Pease's back end is very oversteery there, isn't it? Goodness gracious me. That car is not planted at all. My word then. No overtakes. So boring, says Camaro. It is very status quo out there, isn't it, at this moment in time then here in Hungary, as Sweet Crown has gone on the hard tyres. Are those hard tyres going to get you in the race? I don't think they are, but I'm not a tyre tickler, I'm not a tyre whisperer, I don't even know what I am, to be honest. I'm just a tired old man. Flippy still leads the way then, and is still, and I've got to say Van Bon is still very much into, whoa, DRS at the moment there, but he's very much playing buckaroo, that Haas car. Goodness me, almost sliding off the circuit. Now into the final turn. I've got an email. Fantastic. Oh, Netflix. I thought I got rid of Netflix. Goodness me. So now out to the final turn then. And Van Bodden there, even though he's struggling there with traction, I think he's doing okay then. Look, Sevasta is now, is Jamie James in the pits well. So both Ferraris have come into the pits today. So is Ferrari's hard on tyre wear, or is this a strategical element in the Grand Prix? As Cam has got past Equals. Equals is starting to drop down the order. That's 2 positions he's lost then in the last 2 laps or something like that. Did someone say the tyre tinkler? There's nothing tinkling about me. Oh, goodness me. But the tyre tinkler then, in terms of, well, George Russell's a tyre tinkler, isn't he? Or tickler, I should say. So is Jamie James going to come out in front of his teammate? No. Sweet Crown is just out in front there. So both Ferraris have gone early here, which now means they're going to go for a major undercut. But I've got a query. Can those hard tyres go to the end of the Grand Prix? I think not. There's no education in any of that, in any of my statements there, because I have none. But I just feel that the hard tyres gets you in. On a very hot day like it is here at the moment in Budapest, I do think that the tyres are going to cook. And I am talking of cooking, I am hungry as well, as we are in Hungary. Fantastic. So the gap is 15.3 seconds between Farhad and Sweet and Jamie James. Of course, this is Jamie James' debut tonight then, so I hope Jamie James is enjoying himself. I think he raced last night as well, did Jamie James, for this his first race in gold tonight then. Not possible to do one stop from there, says KD. As what's happened? As Equals has come in the pit and is retired. I think he's crashed into the pit lane. I think there's a 10-second stop and go penalty for Equals, and then his McLaren is moving. Equals out of the Grand Prix, unfortunately. I do not know what's happened to Equals. He was dropping like a stone. There's his car now, but Equals is out of the Grand Prix, and sadly for Equals, who was looking very strong in this race tonight, is out of the Grand Prix. Van Von has got the first 3-second penalty of the day, unfortunately. Penalties around here, I don't think are going to be too high. Famous last words from me. I don't think penalties are going to be too high in this one. So that's going to be cost something for Van Von. And at this moment in time, then he's going to lose a abundance amount of positions there. Savasta is dropping back. He's lost a second since we last checked in. Kieran is also at DRS range of Julian as well. So the top four are now starting to break away from Kieran in fifth position. We're on board with Brabbitt. Brabbitt then, of course, will hopefully, because of the McLaren in front of him, hasn't got DRS, the drag reduction system. Last time we're going to be saying that in the final 8 races or so before we go for the overtake, boost, and all that kind of stuff, which we are all looking forward to, I'm sure of it, when the DLC eventually comes out. Brabbitt up into 5th position, past the McLaren driver. Kieran trying to go up and under, but I think that it could be job done, as Brabbitt's going to have to defend the inside. He does defend the inside there. Kieran there, who will be hoping to stick within DRS there, but look at the oversteer there, and one of these tyres already starting to hit the limit here. And if that's the case, then Kieran could be in abundance amount of trouble in this one. It is possible to do one stop, however, you'll have to go long, and says KD. And of course, I wonder if KD's also letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak, in terms of what his strategy is going to be when he's driving this McLaren, not this exact McLaren, tomorrow night in silver, of course. And KD, I think, has got revenge on his mind, hasn't he? As he wants to reclaim the championship lead, which I think he lost last week. I haven't got my silver standards up, which I probably could if I just leaned over, but I don't want to hurt my poor back. No chance. Horse goes to the end then. It says serious mustard. Equals, your car is scraps now. Sorry for losing the train. Overfield was not competitive. Was rinsing the tyres. A total scrap moment there, says Equals. So that's heartbreak for the second McLaren out of the Grand Prix. It looks like the McLaren overfueled their car. You wouldn't get that on Ron Dennis's day, would you? Shocking stuff indeed. So I think the Tech Rods is going to be having an urgent word with Zach Brown at the end of this one there, and hopefully Zach Brown has got a reason behind that, because that is pretty poor stuff indeed. However, this Grand Prix in 2007, when Ferrari tried to qualify, I think the Ferrari forgot to put fuel in the car at all for Felipe Massa, which was not ideal, was it there? So at least Equals did have fuel, unlike Felipe Massa did in the 2007 qualified session. Ironically, that qualifying session as well was also the qualifying session where Fernando Alonso parked his car and blocked Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane there, which is quite funny. But when you look back on it, it is quite funny, isn't it? For goodness me. Spygate, that was the beginning of Spygate, wasn't it? Goodness gracious me. One of the infamous moments of Grand Prix racing. Cam has now got, like his namesake Kaz, Cam has now got a 3-second penalty as well. As Brabbitt is now, no, he's not within a second yet then, but he is starting to home in on the top 3 at this moment there. Get your finger out, KD. Oh, goodness gracious me, there's a lot of fingering going on in the comment section. Oh, God. Steady on. My word. Disgraceful stuff indeed. Talking of which, I do wish I had a finger. I mean a chocolate finger, as we're just watching Van Bon, who is now all over the back of Flippy. This is a great run, and he's going for the lead then. Of course, I don't know how much overtaken on this circuit so far, but of course, it's not about quality, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, in my opinion. As I've heard that over the course of the last day or two after the Formula 1 race in Australia. Lap 10 out of 38 in this one. So, as they're all starting to fight, then Brabbitt would like to be fighting a bit more, to be honest, because he wants to home in on this battle now, as gaps are starting to form in this Grand Prix. Farhad is now in the 14th position, so Farhad is now starting to use those hard tyres to his advantage and really starting to home in on the drivers to start on the medium compound tyres. Drivers that have come in is Knowlesy, Nameless, both come in earlier on there. Then we've got the two Ferraris coming in a lap after each other, and their Sweet Crown has now got a gap down to 7 seconds, but Jamie James and Nameless are all over the back of Sweet Crown. We're keeping an eye on that one as well. We're just keeping an eye on the front of this grid as well. Oh, goodness me, I've got indigestion. Good heavens above. Out of the turn 13 then. So no drivers coming into the pitch just yet. I'm going to be honest, it's a bit of a waiting game at the moment, isn't it? At the upper echelons of the classification. And once again, Flippy going defensive because he now had a warning shot from Van Von, and how quick that Haas is down the straight. This time around, Van Von is about half a second away. And my goodness gracious me, Brabbitt has lost a couple of tenths there. But I wonder if Brabbitt Brabbitt's starting to harvest to get himself some more deployment back in the battery pack, and then Brabbitt's going to maybe turn it back in, turn it up to a hot lap once again, then to really get some lap times up there, and hopefully home in on this gang of cars. Look though, Brabbitt is starting to drag Kieran and Sweet along for the Grand Prix party as well, which will be very interesting because that'll be the top 7 fighting for the Grand Prix lead, which is not unusual in this day and age in ALR Gold at the moment. Is that we have a lot of conga lines there as Equals out of the Grand Prix because of a team mistake there, unfortunately, and I think that Equals there is certainly not going to be talking to his McLaren team after this one there. Of course, I keep saying it, don't we? It seems in the world of ALR at the moment, McLaren do seem to have a lot of team mistakes, don't we? Remember, in Silver, McLaren have had like, what, 5-6 pole positions in the opening 9 Grand Prix. They have converted a few, but the mistakes are on Mumford's side of the garage. It's not been ideal, has it? And I think for Katie as well, he's missed 1 or 2 Grand Prix wins as well because of the McLaren team this year. So I think the McLaren, I think if you as a driver, you probably want to stay away from the getting drawn into the McLaren driver role for next season. There, of course, the driver draw, which you do every year, which I think is the best part about ALR Grand Prix racing. I do love a good old Wheel of Misfortune, and of course, drivers selecting their what cars they're going to be in. And Legends there just catch up to the back of Pease. Pease had a great start to this race so far, as Nameless has got past Jamie James and moving his way up into the centre division. By the way, that's a fantastic name. I love it, Jamie James there. And it also reminds me that I want some Jamie Dodgers actually, so I'm going to probably go and buy those tomorrow, which I probably shouldn't because it's going to hurt my waistline. But it's still winter, I say. It is still winter. Legends, who unfortunately that straight up turn 4 is not straight enough for Legends, so he's going to have to wait, I think, until the start finish straight. Lap 12 out of 35. Now we're coming into the pit stop window now for 1 stoppers, I think, then give or take, because we're about 6 laps away from half distance in this Grand Prix, and surely I would say that the hard tires can get to the end from here on in then. But Flippy has stayed out, and who's out into the pits? That's the pole sitter has come into the pits, and so Medi's in the pits, Julian's in the pits as well. So Flippy and Van Von is elected to stay out. The undercut, I think, is going to be absolutely powerful around here. So of course there's Brabbitt there who's trying to keep in front of Kieran, who's also trying to keep in front of Sweet as well. I must say, Sweet has been one of the most impressive Grand Prix, most impressive drivers of the season so far. He really has indeed. There, of course, last time the Sweet was in gold, then it wasn't the most competitive. Was the most competitive a few races for Sweet there, but goodness me, coming back from silver this time around, he's been superb, hasn't he, Sweet has? And of course, Sweet and Brabbitt are really doing a great job in terms of the constructors, points going on in the constructors' points going on in the constructors' championship. Medi's had a horror show of a pit stop. He's dropped behind Julian there, so Julian has made a position there to Medi. I'm not sure if the LP mechanics were a bit slow on the on attaching the wheels, or was they not prepared? Was it a late request there from Medi, and is that going to be costly? Who's out? That's Farhad scampering off the circuit there. He's going to be in the way. Contact there between Medi and Farhad, unfortunately. That corner does pinch there, and unfortunately Medi has been spun around there. Julian's got past his teammate. I wonder if there's a bit of team orders there, but having said that, the second Mercedes couldn't hold to Medi so far, and still at the front, Van Von and Flippy have stayed out. All the top 5, all the top 6 have stayed out so far. Emerson is dropping back in the moment. Love the crash helmet there from Emerson. Into the pits. Who's that into the pits? That's Legends into the pits. Emerson there is fighting the car, the double world champion there, down into 12th position there for Emerson, as he is trying to extend his stint then for Emerson there. But at the moment there, he is a bit beyond the 8 ball. Julian is now past Pease, and look in the background there. Medi would like to have got past one, but Medi is now going to have to refollow the leader, so to speak, then through the twisty parts of the circuit, the middle section of this circuit. You do not want to be behind anyone. On board now with Medi as well, and so I think that Medi's going to be 3 hours with his LP mechanics there, not getting the pit stop absolutely right then, because Julian is in front of us now, and look at that, Julian's already a second in front there, and it is just time being elapsed at this stage of proceedings there. I knew he would turn his name into food, says Serious Pressure. Up the inside. Oh, contact. Pease has been forced off the circuit there. Medi there forcing Pease off the circuit there. And that's Pease getting a 3-second penalty, which I think is very unfair. And I'm hoping that gets rescinded there. Emerson there is becoming a mobile chicane. And that's debris off the circuit. That's debris off of one of the cars. I don't see who it was. Yellow flag in the background. It's Chaz off the circuit. Van Von's got a 3-second penalty. Heavens above. It's all gone off here in the Hungary ring. Kieran leads, Sweet in second. Into the pits comes the championship leader. Hard tyres going on then. Is Brabbit, I think, coming out of the pits now. I think he hasn't made a pit stop. No, there's the kick Salvers now. Flippy is done. Van Von is done as well, but that 10-second penalty is going to be costly. Where am I looking? There they are. Look, there is the undercut factor, and through they go. Julian, Medi, and Flippy leads the Grand Prix. The gap is 2.5 seconds at the moment. I did not see who's got damage on the cards though. Who's that there? That's Cam coming in the pits. Emerson there. Oh, that's a sluggish exit there from Emerson, unfortunately. I wonder if it's Chaz that got damaged there. Let's take a look, because he was at half around there. Williams mechanics are ready. Yes, there's a new nose cone there for the Williams, and Chaz there is going to be absolutely furious with that, isn't he? Come on, Emerson, says Dom then. As Emerson causes all kinds of anarchy in the middle part of the circuit. Medi should give that back, says Serious Mashev, in terms of the contact between Farhad and Medi, as Van Von has got another penalty. I think that's going to be frustration there from Van Von for that 10-second penalty which he got for speeding the pit lane. Kieran into the pits now. Sweet Crown. Apologise, I've got the wrong Sweet. Sweet is going to take the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it really extended the stint there. Remember, we still got 20 odd laps to go. This is one of the longer races in terms of time. This one is there. So this is a very slow average. Race in terms of time. Out of final turn there for Brabbit. Then Sweet, who's been on those tyres for 11 laps. Brabbit's been on those tyres for 1 lap there, and the position has been exchanged. Thank goodness me, it's not the stock market, Sean. Brabbit up into 6th position there. Sweet into 7th. Jamie James is in 8th position with Nameless down into 9th. Kieran now out of the pits in 10th position. He's got a lot of overtaking to do now. There's a lot of hard shod runners right in front. Sebastian 11th. Cameron 12th position there. Nolte is going side by side then with Farhad. Then Farhad is not pitted. The same with Kieran, but Farhad started on the hard tyres. But the alternative strategy is not really working out for Farhad at the moment, unfortunately. So, there's a lot of frustration, I think, in Van Bond's cockpit at the moment. Really pushing on, isn't he? Flippy's got the gap down to 2 seconds. I'm sure it's 2.5 seconds when they came out the pits there. I am making a streak. I'm making a steak at the moment. Ooh. I hope you have your steak. No, I don't really like rare, not medium rare. I do like a steak needs to be medium, in my opinion. Some would say that I've probably I've had too many steaks. On the inside goes Kieran. Nameless is going to be on the inside. As Julian has set the fast on us, he's going to hang it on the outside as well. So, but the Red Bull have got older tyres. Kieran's through beautiful manoeuvre. Up into 9th position for Kieran. Beautifully done. Into the pits comes the kick Salva then, and out of the pits now. And I know, so Sweet's also got to do a lot of overtaking as well. Disgraceful behaviour. It was PT hit. Pay attention, Sean. No, it wasn't. You're pulling my plonker, mushroom. I don't think. She wasn't Peace, was it? Goodness gracious me. Sweet stays out too long, says Camera Racer. For Sean, focus, man. Sorry. Well, someone was speaking about steak. I love a bit of food. As you can probably tell from my waistline, my belt is an extra large, just like my fries to go. It's a Delano in the 15th position. Farhad down in 16th. I feel sorry for Farhad then. It was a pinch moment there, and I'm wondering if Medi's going to have a steward's investigation hanging over his head now, because that could be he could be in a bit of trouble for that there. But as I stressed before, I'm not allowed in the steward's office there. I've been banned from that in the Discord part. I don't know why. I think that all my steward's decisions have been absolutely top notch, mainly because I'm like that referee in football that keeps saying play on, even though there's a player that has been absolutely brutalised. Here's Sweet then, who's trying to get past Nameless as well, as Nameless is coming. Oh, there's damage on Nameless's car as well. Damage around here is absolutely it is brutal, because it's just going to damage the tyres. So it's going to be understeer scrubbing across the circuit, and it is just going to really paint the tyres out. This is all about tyres, which of course I know a lot of you have missed there because we didn't talk much about the tyres in the real Australian Grand Prix, did we? And I'm sure you all get it. Oh, it's all missing that. Jamie James is on the outside, then Sebastian is up in Q8 position there, of course. So that is all about the life of tyre. Both Ferraris coming in very early, and they've elevated themselves up to 6th and 9th position. However, steady on, 69, and the 6th and 9th position. However, unfortunately, Kieran having a sniff around Sweet Crown. Unfortunately, though, I think that I wonder if the horse has been let out of its cart too early. Oh, as Jamie James has left possession there. The race, not food, Sean. Goodness me. So food is very important because if I don't have food for, as Jamie James has left possession, unfortunately, if I don't have food every 5 minutes of the day, then I'm going to lose focus and all that kind of stuff. And also that means I'm going to drop a size. Whoa, look at the flippy at the inside. Oh, many trying to turn in there as it is getting very robust between the two championship rivals. And now that it's a fighting. Many's going to have the inside into turn number 2. Dives on the inside. Contact between the two rivals. Remember, it got very needly, didn't it? Oh my goodness me. And more contact there in turn 3. Good heavens above, gentlemen. My goodness gracious me. Of course, we were talking the other day in the British Grand Prix about how it was getting very, it was getting a bit, getting big punch and counter punch there between the two drivers. And now all of a sudden, then this championship battle has gone nuclear in this one. My goodness gracious me. Well, you got to be careful though, because you do not want to be banging wheels too much. And these cars are quite fragile, especially in the ground effect here. That any bit of damage that is going to be painful for the remainder of the Grand Prix. The more they fight though, the more Julian is just going to scamper away, aim for his second Grand Prix win of his career in Grand Prix racing. Even after a comment from the audience, Sean goes back to the steak. Absolutely, I love it. I don't have steak and yogs, to be honest. I've been a very good boy. Having said that, steak is not bad for you, is it? Please tell me I'm right. A medium rare, just perfect then. I keep missing my R's and W's tonight then. I sound like that Tony guy of Only Fools and Horses. Flipping on the outside, many them just showing him his elbow there. The elbows are up there, the gloves are off there between the two championship rivals and they're fighting. Flipping on the outside, Many's on the inside there. And once again, he's showing in the rear wheel. The gap in the front is up to 3 seconds out. Here comes Van Born as well. Good heavens me. Wow, I'm getting flashbacks to the incredible battle of season 8 there between Boxtel and between Percy, and all of a sudden this is getting very, very fisticuffs indeed then, as Medi hasn't got the pace out, but he's not allowing his championship rival through. Now my question is then, is the defense too extreme for Medi, or is this just on the song then? I'll leave the comments in the comment section for you guys to tell me about it, because I'm going to stay on the fence, but I love it. Incredible stuff indeed. Right, where was I then? I like my steak up the inside. We nearly had a Boxtel Percy incident that says KD. Julian will win it if not a safety car comes in. Come. Don't jinx it, haha. The stream is 80% food, 20% 20% steak tonight. Then nice, absolutely. Oh my goodness me. To be honest, this stream is only like 20% F1, then the rest of it is just absolute boulder dash. Flippy back on the inside here. Come on, Sean, we've got to stay professional. He's on the outside into turn 3. 2, my word, that Sweet has got past Sweet Crown, his namesake there. There's so many Sweets on this circuit as well. He's back to food. And now, and once again, Flippy can't get past. And Flippy's going to have to get the fence there from Van Vaughn. The gap is 3.5 seconds. There's a car off. And that's Cam off the circuit. And he's gone well off in turn 1 there, and that's a lot of damage there, and that's a big blow indeed for the Red Bull driver. Jamie James is back in. Whoa, Dylan almost pointing the wrong way. Wow, Howard, sir, fantastic stuff indeed there. Oh my goodness gracious me. Back at the front then, lap 21 out of 35. This race has all of a sudden gone absolutely mega. Van Von has got another penalty. I think that Van Von would like to get past both these drivers here in front and just scamper off down the road. He does have a 16-second penalty, I believe, at least there. Unfortunately, with a 10-second stop and go for... It's not a 10-second stop and go, it's a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. once again then as we come out of the final turn, but I think the flip is going to have to be more concerned about Van Von, I feel, as look at how much ground it gets. He's going for it again, he's down at the inside, locking up there the outside tire for Flippy as he tries to go up and under, back on board with the championship leader here, and he's having a look there. I think it's more of a feign than anything else there. He's just trying to distract Medi. It's the championship leader. Remember, these two are first and second of the World Drivers' Championship. Oh my goodness me, it's all to play for there. We still got 7 rounds to go after this one there. Anything can happen in Grand Prix races, as the great Murray Walker said, and it usually does. My word there, absolutely incredible stuff. I'm getting very sweaty here though, isn't it? Goodness me. Someone's going to end up in the wall, says KD. This is certainly getting a bit squeaky bum time. It's a mega battle from Ansi is saying as well. It absolutely is, isn't it? I've got to say, I am clinching though, because I do feel there's a bit of needle between these two drivers. But my word then, it's absolutely fantastic to watch. Whilst Julian there is going to be enjoying life out front. The gap is 4.2 seconds. He is almost in a different postcode, isn't he? He's coming out of the final turn now, whilst these drivers are just fighting. And my goodness me, currently, as it stands then, the gap is, in the terms of the Drivers' Championship, 44 points. So Flippy does not need to overtake. But of course, then we can, but never say never. He's going on the outside now. So Medi is parked on the inside. Flippy's going to go up and under, is he? No, he's not, because Medi has parked the car in a superb location, right in the middle part of the circuit. He's going up the inside, but once again there, Medi breaks so much later, and if Flippy just cannot get through then. And this is great racing. This is two drivers there fighting for the World Championship, leaving it all on the line. It's absolutely superb to watch. And drivers at the top of their top end class, peak performance is superb. And I gotta say, the skill that these drivers are showing, it's absolutely mega. I tip my toupee off. Fantastic stuff indeed. We've had more drivers coming to the pits, and Sweet is in the pits. No, he's about 11 seconds behind Emerson. We've also had the other Ferrari come in the pits as well, of Jamie James over. That was about 6 laps ago, Sean. Come on, keep up with it. Farhad also in the pits as well. Cam in the pits after damage going down into turn 1. We do not know what happened to Cam. Unfortunately, hopefully we'll find out before the end of this race, and maybe I'll let you know in the next stream, which of course is tomorrow night there. And once again then, the run down into turn 1 is becoming very crucial in this one, isn't it? And of course, it's all about getting a good run off of the final corner, and once again Medi is doing a great job. And look at this, and so Medi is defending a bit of fresh air there, so Flippy there is just staying on the racing line just to get a clear braking point there for Flippy, but that time it didn't work. I'm wondering if he lost too much time by not getting the slipstream there, and this time around then Flippy is going to have to just stay right behind. Then is Sweet on the outside, Savasta trying to get on the inside there. Sweet has the DRS down here is not very it's not very effective. I haven't said that. I eat my foot, because now Sweet is on the inside and takes 7th position there. Savasta down to 8th. Emerson is fighting with the former bronze champion there, the bronze champion from season 3 versus the gold double champion from season 4 and 5. Delano, is Delano going through, as Emerson has gone off to a completely different part of the circuit and down in 12th position, unfortunately. Back at this battle here, as we've got a couple of whoa, it's a Flippy. I thought Flippy lost it there, but I think he was just ducking out and just trying to distract Medi in this one. Popcorn there for KD then. Fighting costs only time there. Medi equals ALR's Ministry of Defence, and so Medi is our Sergio Perez. Of course, when Perez was pretty decent in Red Bull, albeit it wasn't all Perez's fault, was it? As we've seen over the years with Liam Lawson and with Tsunoda as well. Quite sad to see Tsunoda in the Red Bull garage in Australia, wasn't it? He's not racing, sadly. But anyway, then back onto this one. Lap 25. Goodness me, last one looks like it's only lap 21. Fantastic stuff indeed. Just going to watch, see what Emerson does then, as Emerson has got a good run out to the final turn. Emerson is on the escalons of the points here. Yellow flag. One of the Ferraris is off the circuit. I think that is Jamie James. It is Jamie James. Emerson there on the outside of Delano, but Delano is having none of that. So Emerson's going to go up and under now, but Emerson just hasn't got the traction, hasn't got the purchase, unfortunately. That's at Racing Bull for Emerson there. Goodness gracious, a 10-second penalty for Jamie James for cutting the circuit. As goodness me, I wonder what part of the circuit he's cut there. He must have found a complete shortcut there. I wonder if there's a hole in the barrier. gap at the front is still 4.3 seconds there. Julian, of course, won I think it was at the Austrian Grand Prix that Julian won back in season 8, I believe it was. I must admit, I'm pulling that out of me foot, so I don't actually know if that's right or not. What I do know is that Julian, of course, a Grand Prix winner, and this is 23rd Grand Prix start now, so can Julian get his second Grand Prix win of his career tonight? Flippy is gaining again then, so he's been doing a bit of harvesting. Is he going to go for it? He's on the outside here, and Medi there is going to just, I think he's just going to run him out of road here. Actually, Medi gave him just about an Aston Martin's cars with incredible stuff indeed. Then is Flippy going to have another look? Not quite then. And so once again then, Medi has survived another lap then. But is it just a matter of if rather, is it a matter of when rather than if in this battle? Van Von is probably enjoying it. However, for Van Von, he is losing time there because Brabant is now catching the gap. It's 2.5 seconds between Van Von and Brabant. And of course, Van Von does have penalties to negotiate towards the end of this one. Oof, goodness gracious me then. So just going to back on board with Flippy now. My word then, I think this is the first race where we're really seeing the two championship rivals go head to head. And my goodness me, they're kicking lumps out of each other until somehow is Cam out of the Grand Prix. That's our third retirement. Jamie James also out of the race as well, unfortunately. We're down to 17 runners and riders in this Hungarian Grand Prix. It's one of the tougher races of the season then, because this is more one of the longer races in terms of time. So we're usually nudging on about the 45 to 50 minute mark in this one. Out of the final turn once again, Van Von is into the pits there, but unfortunately for Van Von, he's going to have to serve that 10 second stop and go penalty. But with Van Von gone now, can Flippy now start to focus more on Medi and not worry about the driver behind him? So I think that's advantage now to Flippy. So Medi's might have to start to really think about getting his elbows out in this battle for the second position. So Van Von then is coming into the pits now. He's serving that 10 second penalty, and he's now on medium tires. And where is he going to come out? He's coming up behind his teammate. He may even come up behind Delano, Sweet Crown and Emerson, who have also been kicking lumps out of each other. As it's had to Delano in the pits. Though I think it's Delano losing positions there. It is indeed there, Sweet Crown. And look at that, there's Van Von very much in the heart of this incredible battle for the final point scoring position at the moment there. So this is going to get very hot under the collar, isn't it? It's already hot under the collar in terms of the amount of heat in this one there. Not only from the weather, from the sun beating down on the Hungary ring, but also in terms of the action on circuit. Van Von is through. Or is he? No, he isn't, because look at this. Delano's off the circuit. Then Van Von on the outside. And he is through using the fresh shod medium tyres there and through and up into 11th position. Next target is Sweet then. Great driving there from Van Von. Great driving for Delano as well there. Of course, Delano could have been brutal there and cut him off there. Flipping then getting out of the hot air of the Renault-powered Alpine car. So I'm wondering if he's getting a bit of overheating issues in the Aston Martin. But breaking out of it. Brabant is losing time, actually, as the two in front of him are starting to gap him here. So I think the Brabant is hoping that they'll be fighting a bit harder than that, but unfortunately that's not the case. Back here then, we have got Pease, who's now all over the back of Legends there. Of course, Pease had a brutal qualifying session. In the race, then, a lot better. However, he does have penalties at this one. And he's going for it. Legends defended, but Pease is having been locking up both tires, and they're going to resemble 50 pence pieces, I think, at the end of this one. Their Pease has almost spun the car, and it cuts across Legends. Thank goodness gracious me. Oh, my word. It's getting very... There's a yellow flag then. What has happened? It's Emerson off the circuit there. And Emerson is off the circuit. And has he lost the whole of the wing? No, he hasn't. He's all fine there. But unfortunately for Emerson, that's his chance of points. Unfortunately, it's gone by the wayside. Unfortunately for the double world champion. Unfortunately, back here then. And I think it says Brabant has found a couple of tenths there. But Brabant is still too far back at this stage of proceedings. Right, big breath now, because I think that this is going to get very very action-packed then, isn't it? Once again, Flippy not using the slipstream there. So Medi there, so not using the slipstream there. I think that the car's overheated, you know. I think the car's overheated, which means there's less power on the engine there. And I think that Flippy is just staying out of the hot, turbulent air from that Alpine. And it's and Kieran locking up both tires there. Van Von is through. Van Von is past Sweet. Oh goodness me, we got some some lap cars in here as well. Now I think the Legends involved, and they've really caught up on the back of Peas and Legends, as Legends is trying to get defensive here, as now then the Haas of Van Von's got fresh and medium tires. He's going to dive down the inside. He does dive down the inside. Legends gives him just about a Haas width there, and Van Von is through. Sweet Crown, unfortunately, sneaking through as well. Van Von passes Peas. Peas doing a great job there to help his teammate out there to sneak past, and now Peas are back, and then has now parked himself back in front of Sweet Crown and Legends there. So frustration for the Ferrari and the Williams drivers out there. Lap 29 out of 45. Let's go, Julian, says Daniel. And certainly Julian's driving superbly well, on course for his second Grand Prix win of his career in ALR. Of course, his first Grand Prix win was back in his first career in ALR. And I'm sure it's in Austria, you know, but I think that could be wrong. I'll have to look later on. Probably tomorrow now. Once again, Flippy is not staying in the slipstream there, and he is losing crucial centimeters, millimeters, which is crucial, especially in my world, I must say. But Flippy is not keeping up with the slipstream there, so I'm wondering if he's harvesting. But both drivers will probably be harvesting at the same time. PZ is trying to fight off Sweet Crown, who's only got 6 laps on these hard tires compared to Peas, who's done 14 laps there. Van Von has set the fast on the race there. Sweet Crown, this is what I was expecting Flippy to do, but Flippy has not been doing that, has he? And now then, here comes Sweet Crown there. Goodness me, I thought he's going on the inside, but no, he's gone on the outside. Peas there. My goodness me, straight line in the turn 1 there, and Sweet Crown was stuck on the outside. My word there, and I think the Sweet Crown is probably, and he's going up the inside. There's contact. He barges Peas out the way, and I'm wondering if that was frustration. And Peas is back up the inside. My goodness me, it's getting very, robust out there, to say the least. Goodness gracious me. Elbows out, gentlemen, in this one. My word. I wonder if that is a bit of retaliation there. I wonder if Sweet Crown did not like Peas straight line turn 1. Remember, Stafford did that a few times, didn't he? And I'm thinking that I don't think Sweet Crown appreciate that too much. But they are very close, actually, here. But I think they've followed the leader at this moment. So I'm going to have to come back to that in a minute, because now I've got to go back to this one. Because look, Flippy is back on the outside. He's on the inside. Muddy there is so trying to swoop on the outside. And I think that Flippy has got, as he's got the purchase, he's got the traction contact between the two cars, and Flippy on the outside, many on the inside, more contact here. Oh my goodness gracious me, there's frustration in both cars here, as I think the Alpine, the Aston Martin pit crew are going to be going absolutely wild in the garages now. My goodness gracious me. Well, I think that this has very much lit a fire under the two championship protagonists. Of course, it came to a head in the British Grand Prix, and now it's really coming to a head here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. My word there. Golly gosh, is all I can say. That Peas angry about the Medi shove there, says Serious Mushroom. So I think that Peas is probably frustrated about that one. As we got Sweet Crown is now past Peas, and Peas' next defense is Legends. Legends drawing superbly well and could be in for driver of the day, which I haven't put out, and I don't know where my second laptop is. I really need to find that, because I think I've lost it like 2-3 weeks ago now. And you got a bit of dirt on the camera there of Flippy. Is Flippy going to this is a 3-point loss there between Medi and Flippy in the Drivers' Championship there. At the grand scheme of things, it doesn't feel too, as a Flippy there, getting well out of the deal, well out of the slipstream there. Flippy is, locking up both tires there from Medi. Medi has got 2 lap older tires compared to his rival in this race, which is Flippy, of course. As it stands, and there'll be a 3-point swing if they finish where they are now. But the question is, though, Sweet had a terrible run off of turn 1 there. The question is, though, of course, is that going to be crucial or not? As it stands at the moment, Flippy there is not, it's only losing 3 points, so it's not the be-all and end-all, is it? So is Flippy going to just slip back in, not amid defeat then, thinking about the long game in this one? Because there's still a podium for Flippy. However, this also could be another point swing for Flippy, and he'll gain 3 points on Medi rather than lose 3 points. And it's all crucial then, because anything can happen still in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does. Driver of the day vote is out as a Varfa Fink has woken up. Fantastic. Julian, Peas and Legends out for driver of the day. Get your votes in now, ladies and gents. Julian driving a superb race today, and surely got to be in contention for driver of the day. He's going to need a medic soon. Goodness gracious me. on board with Flippy once again then, and this time Flippy there in the DRS, but I feel he's too far back at the moment, isn't he? Flippy is. Van Von then, who did get rid of that 3-second penalty, still has 9 seconds of penalties out there. Sweet has 6 seconds and 3 seconds for Nosey, down in 17th position for Nosey, as we got Kieran who goes in deep there and keeps the position away from Sweet then, and Kieran there drawing superior. Best result of his career for Kieran, I think is 4th in the Gold World Championship. Of course, Kieran has won umpteen races in the event league over the course of the last season or two then for Kieran, but he has never been on the podium in gold before. With 3 laps to go, it's looking a bit unlikely, but of course it is getting very hot, isn't it, in this battle for second position. Bravitt is also keeping a keen eye on this one as well. Back on board with Flippy. This has been an incredible, intense Grand Prix. Good. I thought I was not going to be winning then. Oh, my word. Oh, I swallowed my tongue as well. Delano is back in front of Farhad. Unfortunately, the alternative strategy has not worked out for the Racing Bull tonight there. Emerson, of course, was on course, was potential on course for an outside chance of points, but that spin at turn 1 has really cost him. Gap has come down. There's Julian. Julian, we didn't even think he was still in the race, to be honest. And once again, Flippy is once again using the slipstream there as Jamie James out of the Grand Prix. Flippy, he dives from the inside and he takes second position. What a dummy for Flippy. That is mega stuff indeed. But the Medi is coming back at him. They're wheel to wheel. They're brushing. They're touching. Medi goes on the inside and retakes third position. My goodness gracious me. Flippy absolutely threw it down the inside. That was a mega overtake. But Medi somehow came back at him there into turn 2. What an incredible battle this is. It's probably one for the ages there, isn't it? My goodness gracious me. And now Sweet Tom going this way and that one. Look at that. The second Aston Martin Savasta is gaining as well on the battle for 5th and 6th position. My goodness gracious me. Medi not being on there is a bit criminal though. I voted for Julian, says Richard. That's far for you, says Serious Russia. We'll throw far off the plane then, because he did give me a license point. As Nameless in the pits, Emerson in the pits as well. So got a bit of pit action there. Whether Emerson comes out in front, he should come out in front of Julian here. Julian is on his final lap now. Wowzer, says Equel, said 3 retirements in this epic Grand Prix as Julian there is on his final tour of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Flippy, if anything he's got left in his battery needs to deploy, and now he's too far back. Is he going for a lunge? No, he is not then. But look at the Alpinist harvesting. We can tell with the red light then flashed on the back of the car. But I think he's too far back. Good Sweet on the outside of Kieran then. He fights. Kieran on the inside then. But Sweet on the outside then. Locking wheels. There's contact between the 2 cars. And we go side by side down into turn 2. No, yes, no, I don't know. On the inside goes Sweet. Kieran's got off the inside as a turn 4. More contact. He's been forced out wide there. Kieran there making his McLaren as wide as possible. Oh my goodness gracious me. And Flippy there is still keeping tabs on Medi as they are very slow at this part of the circuit. There's Bravitt in the background. Oh my goodness gracious me. I think there's no more overtaking opportunities now, is there, for these 2 championship protagonists, as what has been an absolute epic battle between Medi and Flippy. The point swing is only 3 points in the Drivers' Championship, but even so, that could be crucial in the outcome of this Drivers' Championship. Julian out of the final turn, and Julian, long overdue, wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff indeed there for Julian, his 2nd Grand Prix win of his career, but that is his 1st win of the season. It's been long overdue for Julian because he should have and could have won a race or 2 ago. Fantastic stuff for Julian. 2nd position is Medi, Flippy in 3rd. What a battle between Medi and Flippy. I'd love to get the thoughts of both those 2 championship protagonists out. It looked a bit heated. It did look like it was getting a bit argy-bargy between the 2 championship protagonists out. My goodness me. Bravitt in 4th. 5th is Kieran with Sweet 6th. Savasta Van Von recovers to 8th position. With Sweet in 9th. And Legends getting the final point in 10th position. Great drive from Legends there. And I think he'll be happy with that then. As Knowlesy's got a 3-second penalty. As I think Knowlesy is just cutting corners. Was he trying to get that fast up? Shame on you, Knowlesy. My goodness me. GG, says Richard then. All right, race that, says Serious Mushroom. Wowzer, says Equal. Said, Flippy, thinking of the title, says Serious Mushroom. I think, as Emerson's got the fast lap, and that could be Emerson's first points of the season. Well done indeed to Emerson. And goodness gracious me, hats off to Emerson there, as I think he'd be happy with that. Emerson is the Spurs of this game. That's harsh. Goodness me. He can't be that bad, surely. Even though I do think Spurs are going to get relegated. It'd be one of the funniest things ever if Spurs gets relegated, wouldn't it? Right, let's take a full look at the classification. Julian, first win of his season, then his second win of his career. Second position was Mehdi with Flippy in third position. Goodness gracious me, so argy-bargy between those two championship protagonists there. Fourth was Bravitt, then so close yet so far. I think another couple of laps, Bravitt could have snuck in there and stole a podium. Kieran in fifth with Sweet in sixth, with Sebastian 7th, Van Von 8th, Sweet in ninth position. That's Crown, that is in ninth. And Legends getting a point in 10th position. P just outside the points in 11th position. Good drive from P, so 20th to 11th. Nameless in 12th with Chazza in 13th. Delano 14th. Emerson 15th in fastest lap. However, that will be under investigation because I reckon he cut the corner. 16th for his teammate Farhad. Knowlesy in 17th position. Retirements was Cam, Jamie James and Aquals retired then from this epic Hungarian Grand Prix. Oh, my goodness me. And I feel I got Mehdi in the comms box as well. Let me make sure I got all my sound and stuff on. I think I have. Goodness me. I'm getting good at this malarkey, aren't I? Mehdi, what an incredible battle between yourself and between your championship rival today then. It looked very heated towards the end then. Was it important to keep Flippy behind for your championship credentials?
Yeah, today I was unlucky in two situations. First, in the first lap of the race, I think all the cars were ghosted. I couldn't see any flashes or other cars in turn one, so I lost two positions there. I think like it was just them passing from my ghost car. I didn't have any flashes. I was thinking like they were far behind me before turn one. And also in the pit lane, I lost a position by the bug to the Mercedes ahead. But anyway, the Mercedes pace was so good. I think in the undercut, it was so crucial to be in front, and Mercedes could do that in the pits, even though it was by bug. But after that, his pace was so good. After I was seeing like there is no chance for me to follow the Mercedes, I was just collecting the battery to fight with Felipe. I think I was defending Felipe every laps, and at least I made it fun. I know I was going for the win today, but second was fun for me with these battles with Felipe today.
Let me come back to the ghost in the beginning of the race because I did mention about the ghost in the build up there. How frustrating is it for you to get pole position and then drivers just ghosting through you? Because I must admit that would infuriate me. The ALR admins also did try out something last night to stop this ghosting from happening, but it's still an issue. How frustrating is it for you as a driver though to get pole position and for drivers just to drive through you?
Yeah, it happens to me a couple of times, and especially when you are the pole sitter, you cannot see the flashes. The cars behind you, they can see you, they can see you are ghosted, and they can pass you very easy. But as a first car, you cannot see the car in back, so you don't want to risk the early braking or anything stupid to hit them, and it's so easy for you to lose a position. I don't think so. It's fixing by someone, but it's a game bug. I think the ALR at least could for example, could make a rule that if ghosting happens, the car should keep their position. I don't know, maybe like there is some way to solve this issue, but it's not by anybody's fault here. Like if I'm ghost, Felipe and the cars behind me, they have the right to pass. Like it's racing, but it's frustrating for the pole sitter to lose such a position. And you know, for example, in such a race like Hungarian Grand Prix, you have to keep the pole position to manage your tire and stuff, because otherwise your tires and your motor are gonna get overheat. Like you see what happened to Felipe with even one tire one lap tire fresher than me. He couldn't pass me there. So it's so important here to had the pole position. My setup was toward to get pole position. It was not toward the race pace. So it was so hard for me after being third and also losing one position in pit stop. But maybe like there is some way to solve it. It's happening every week here, so, and most of the times it's by somebody's internet issue that cause this happening every week.
So it's not. Do you race in other leagues? And if you do, does that happen in other leagues? Does it?
I think so, but for example, as I saw in other leagues, they put this rule that if you are not hitting the car in front or if you are in a comfortable position, you don't have the right to pass the ghost cars. Because in here, they so comfortably passed me. I'm not saying again it's their fault because if it was me, when there is no rule, I can do such a thing too. But maybe ALR can think of this rule too. Like if you are comfortably see the car in front, you should wait in back of him. What's the reason to just push and pass him from the ghosted car? Because when the cars are ghosting, the leader cannot see the flashes, the red flashes. So I didn't have any idea from the position of the cars behind me.
That is so frustrating. As you said, especially on a circuit like this circuit in a Grand Prix like Monaco as well. You do all the hard work in qualified, then it just all goes to peak tongue. And talk about the pit stop if you can. Then what happened in the pit stop? Because I was umming and ahhing whether the Alpine mechanics weren't ready for you. What happened there, which the Mercedes got past you?
I don't know. Like sometimes in pit stop there is some bug after the pit stop is done. They don't release my car. I think I lost like 3 or 4 turns there, and the Mercedes back there it was so near to me and it would pass me. I think it happens to Immortal last season too. It's again like it's one of the 100 bugs that this game had, and I hope they're gonna fix all of them in next year's game.
I hope so as well. And today it was an absolutely incredible battle between yourself and Flippy. As I mentioned, then it was maybe a 3 point swinger, which doesn't sound like a lot, but could help you towards the end of this World Championship. How important was it to keep Flippy behind then? Because it seemed like that this was a important part just to keep your championship hopes alive at this stage.
Yeah, of course, like with 45 points gap, I have nothing to lose, so every week I'm gonna risk anything stupid there to just make some of the points to Flippy. But again, I'm trying to keep it clean. I'm again like I don't wanna do so like a wrong thing there. Today, I think like I was so unlucky because as you see in the last of the race, my pace was matching Mercedes. I wasn't slower than him, but my setup was toward last of the scenes for the race pace. Even me and Felipe was battling every lap, but at the end the gap was being same with the Mercedes in front. I could win today, but again till now my only opponent is Felipe. So my only aim in the races to is to finish in front of Felipe, not to win the race or be on the podium and stuff.
Really good stuff today, Benny. Brilliant job to get a second position. That's fantastic stuff indeed. Then, Flippy can't join the party at the moment, so I'm going to jump into his in just a jiffy. But yeah, Accrington Stanley says Cirrus Mushroom. Who are they? Incredible. Thank you very much to Mehdi. Then, brilliant job today. I'm going to jump into Flippy's party because Flippy can't join mine. So give me a second. Right, how do I do this? I've joined, I think. As yeah, so I'm just joining in Flippy's party now. Flippy, you got third position today then, and it was a great fight between yourself and Medi. But firstly, talk us about the opening series of corners there, because it looked like all you guys ghosted again. Then, how annoying is that from a driver's point of view? Because I must admit, from my point of view, it's quite annoying.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't make good racing. It's not really like the racing I want to see in ALR. But yeah, that start, like I think Van Zyl had a really good start. I think he was side by side with like Mehdi into turn one already. But yeah, that ghosting is just I don't know like if it's an internet issue or it's just a game issue. But yeah, in all the league racing I do, I've had that since I don't know like as long as I remember I recalled on this game. But yeah, the race itself wasn't the best. Qualifying, I did a stupid invalidation. If not, I would have been on pole. And yeah, I probably should have seen like getting by is like a hard task today before I decided to pit 2 laps later. I probably should have boxed. If I think if I boxed like 13, I would have came out ahead, like between the Merc and the Alpine. So that's probably the best strat for myself today. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, looking back, there's definitely some improvement in terms of strategy to do.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but do you feel that? Because I was saying to Mehdi then that potentially this is a 3 points gain for him today, which might help him towards the championship outcome towards the end then. But how frustrating was it today getting stuck behind Mehdi? And as you mentioned, you potentially, if you paid a lap earlier, you could have been in front. But how difficult was it to keep that third position, knowing that you're still getting points on Mehdi and you could potentially lose 15? So how difficult was it to keep the championship in mind today?
I mean, I think he gained 4 points just because he got pole. Do you still get pole points for ALR? I think so, right? But
No.
no, no, oh wait, no, you don't? I thought you do. Oh, so yeah, oh, that's 1 point better for me then. But yeah, I mean, I kind of thought with a two-lap advantage, getting past would be like not easy but doable. I mean, for like I don't know, like 5, 6 times in the second stint, I was like looking like really, really likely. Like the overtake was really, really likely. But it's just like the contact to turn three constantly, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like yeah. It's basically just me not keeping like side by side enough. I guess I don't know.
Do you feel that the potential you might have to have a steward's inquiry about that? Are you quite frustrated about it?
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything controversial. Just don't wanna upset anyone or anything. But I mean, I think it's marginal looking back after the adrenaline's gone. But like the move, like the lunges I sent in turn one, it wasn't like there was no contact involved. It was a lunge for sure, but like Medi left the door open, and like I made the lunge towards the inside or around the outside without any contact with his car, and then go into turn three, just kind of like push me wide every single time. And there was one time in like after turn one on the straight where he like we already talked about it or something, like he's probably pissed about me, like him making contact with my car, but I was just holding my line on the straight, so I don't think that was my fault honestly, just raising the incident, but getting pushed wide into turn three, like every time you were side by side wasn't fun, just is all I would say.
Ooh, it's gonna be tense in the championship fight then. And thank you very much, Flippy. Great job today to finish third position there. And you have lost 3 points in the championship fight, but those 3 points said it could have been a lot more, especially with the how close it became in that fight there. Have I still got my stream going? I hope I have. Oh, thank goodness for that. Right, that's going to be it then for tonight then. And then superb job indeed there for Julian to win his first Grand Prix since his return, and that's his second win of his career. Superb stuff indeed. Tomorrow night, the championship is flipped on its head with Tory taking the lead in the Drivers' Championship over KD. The gap is 11 points. Pot Stuff is a further 20 points away from KD, 31 points away from Tory. Then is it going to be a two-horse race? Well, you can never count Pot Stuff out. There's 8 races to go. I cannot wait. Dom, it's just a game. Emma's got a point. Incredible. Absolutely is. It's almost as rare as Tottenham getting a point, isn't it? Fantastic. That is going to be it then for ALR Gold tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night for more action from ALR.